Hey there all. I've had some questions this week about the course paper pre-assignment. So I wanted to kind of walk through it with you and show you exactly what I am looking for. So here you see my screen. Um, we are going to pretend we're in the social psychology class. So let me flip over to the student view. So if we look at, well, we can scroll down to see the assignment. So remember, we can scroll down to see all of the stuff that is due for this week, right? So yours is going to be due at the end of the week. We're going to click on course paper pre-assignment and topic submission, and we're going to go through the instructions. So the goal of this assignment is literally to get you to start thinking about this course paper. The research shows that many times if we have a final assignment that's due later in the semester, many times students don't look at it. They don't think about it until it comes up. And so what I've done is really break that assignment down into pieces so that we are working on pieces at a time. So we're not trying to squish it all in together. We're getting feedback at each step of the process. So again, it's not that you're just submitting your final course paper and getting a 70 on it and being like, well, but wait, why did I get a 70 on it? So for this first step of the assignment, really what I want you to do is to review the instructions for the course paper, and to demonstrate to me that you know what is expected of you for this course paper. And then also, I want you to be thinking about what is your topic that you want to study for the course paper. So, what topic from social psychology interests you, that you really want to read more about, that you want to write more about? And then you're also going to be letting me know any questions that you have about finding sources for this paper. So the paper is going to require that you have 3 peer-reviewed primary sources from the professional psychology literature. And a lot of times students are like, those are a lot of words that I don't know what they mean. Like, what's going on here? So this assignment is really going to help you make sure that you understand all of those pieces. Okay. So first thing you want to do is to go through the instructions for the course paper and the checklist for the course paper. So this link here is going to be the instructions and resources for the actual paper. Okay. So it tells you kind of what you're looking for in terms of a topic. And you want to, there's multiple ways that you can go about figuring out what your topic is. A lot of times I suggest to students that they find something that is either of personal interest to them, so that they want to learn more about it, or that relates to what they think they want to do with their career. But we have to remember that it has to come back to social psychology because this is a social psychology course, right? So I've got students who are like, I want to be a therapist, so I want to study depression. And I'm like, well, how are we going to make depression a social psychological topic, right? So we can focus on, how people who experience symptoms of depression decrease their interactions with other people, and how that decrease in interactions actually makes the symptoms worse rather than better. But again, the focus has to be on social psychology, not on a mental disorder, if that makes sense. Okay. So then it goes into this assignment, or this page goes into what is actually a peer-reviewed primary source from the professional literature. So it explains what a primary source is in here. And then it tells you, okay, if you found a source, these are the things that the source is going to tell you. So our hypothesis, who the researchers studied, um, where they got their sample from. So how did they find this sample? What were the demographics of the sample? And these are all the things that you're going to be summarizing as you're writing your course paper. So when you're finding sources for your paper, you have to be able to pull these things out. And if you can't find them in the thing that you're reading, then most likely it is not a good source for the assignment. Okay. So here's kind of the nuts and bolts of the paper. So it has to be at least 4 pages long. And it's going to be double spaced, 12-point font, Times New Roman, 1-inch margins, all that fun stuff. Do not include a running header and abstract. And then we've got some resources. So again, this checklist goes through what do you need for the paper. This information is about what are primary sources versus secondary sources. This is a video that I did about primary sources. There's some in-text referencing stuff, how to summarize articles. This is a PDF that I did about how to find our articles in the library. There's an example paper. There's a template. This is literally like everything included on the template is what you need for this paper. I highly suggest that you download this and start using the template as your own personal paper. But you have to remember to save it as something new and remove the template parts. Because I've got a lot of times students would be like, here's my paper. And I'm like, well, but it's got all the stuff from what I told you to write in there. And then the outcomes for the completed paper. All right. So, and then what will be graded on. So after reading this, you want to come back to the assignment that we're working on, which is this pre-assignment, and you want to tell me in your own words, what do you need to do in order to be successful on this assignment? So after reviewing the instructions, what is your understanding of the assignment? In order to do this, you need to make a numbered list. So demonstrate this understanding, make a numbered list of what needs to be done to complete the assignment. And I really suggest to students that they make this a comprehensive numbered list for themselves. So kind of like telling yourself, okay, first thing I need to do is to, choose my topic. Second thing, I need to find my 3 primary sources. Then I need to read my first primary source. And then I need to, so literally breaking it down step by step. Because sometimes what students will say is like, choose a topic, find sources, write paper. And I'm like, okay, technically, yeah, but at the same time, that's not going to help you as a person think about the process of writing this paper. So you really want to use this as an opportunity to kind of make the list of steps for yourself in terms of how do I think about, how does this make sense in my head to do this paper? Okay. And then the next thing you need to do, so we have our numbered list, and then we have our topic. So I can tell you some examples of topics from previous classes. That are things such as attachment relationships. Unfortunately, that's recently been more popular. I think there was a TikTok trend focusing on different types of attachment. And so I had literally last semester, I had like a quarter of the papers were about attachment. And I was like, yo, what is going on? You can focus on conformity. You can focus on discrimination and prejudice. And there's actually, if you look in the announcements area, there's actually a link to a list of multiple topics that are available for us to write on. You can also look in the index of our book and you can see, what exactly, kind of scroll through the index and go, oh, that sounds interesting, and write down like a couple of things that you might want to write your paper about. You don't want to make it really broad because if you put discrimination into the search bar on the library's databases, you're going to come up with like 10,000 articles. Nobody wants to scroll through 10,000 articles, right? Whereas if you put in homosexuality and discrimination as your keywords, you're more likely to come up with fewer sources. You're still going to come up with a lot. And one of the ways that you can even pare that down even more is to find sources by specific dates. And if you look in the resources area at the video I gave you about how to search for sources using our databases, I give you all of those tips and tricks of how to use the database to really pare down your number of sources that you find to make sure that you're finding peer-reviewed sources, that you're finding more recent research, and that you're not confronted with, thousands of articles to look through, because nobody wants to look through thousands of articles. I don't want to look through thousands of articles. And then finally, what questions do you have about finding peer-reviewed primary sources from the professional psychology literature from the assignment? So basically, after you've watched the video about finding these sources, what questions do you still have? Okay, so you want to answer these 3 questions in your assignment and create it as a document, either as a doc or docx or PDF. I will tell you that Canvas and Google Docs do not typically like each other. So you want to make sure that you save as. Also, if you're using a Mac, remember to save as and use the correct file type, because most of your faculty do not have MacBooks. I mean, the computer that is issued by the college, which is now a laptop, does not open those files. So most of your faculty are not going to be able to open that sort of file, okay? So then once you're done, you've typed it all, make sure you type it and save it to your computer, and then you can either copy and paste it or attach the file. Because I've seen a lot of students that say, I had written my XYZ, and I suggest you do this for every single assignment. I'd written my discussion board post on Canvas in the text box. I lost internet. It disappeared. Let's not do that, okay? So make sure that you're creating a new file, a new document for every single assignment that you're working on, that you then can upload that file and you can go back and edit it and keep using it to work on it if you need to. But also, let's say that it doesn't get uploaded correctly, then you have it, so you can be like, okay, well, here it is, and you can submit it to me the next day via email, okay? So once we've figured out what we're doing here, then we want to click Start Assignment, and it will give me the opportunity to upload a file. So I click Browse, and then I find the file on my computer, and I click on it. And then if you have specific things you want to write, you can write in the comments area. You don't have to write comments. And then this here is the rubric that shows you how the assignment's going to be graded. So basically, did you summarize the assignment? Did you include a numbered list? Did you tell me what your topic's going to be? Did you tell me if you have any questions? Now, let's say that you don't have any questions. You are fantastic at finding peer-reviewed primary sources. Then you can literally write in there, I've had experience with finding these sources. I have no questions. If I do have questions, then I will send you a message. And that's perfectly acceptable and will get you full points for this part of the assignment. Okay? So if you still have questions about this assignment, send me a message and let me know. And hopefully we can get all of those questions answered for you. Okay, thanks.